Bill Plunkett covers the Dodgers for the Orange County Register and joins us right now on Foul Territory. Bill, great to have you on the show. Thank you for joining us. I like to do this anytime we bring someone on and a team is going through a mini rut. They've lost, 4 or 5? They had a tough series against Pittsburgh. Are the Dodgers okay?
It's not a mini rut. They're 22-29 since the 4th of July. And I think that's about 11th or 12th best in the National League during that time. It's not a mini rut. They've been fairly mediocre for a good 2-month stretch.
No matter what's wrong, Bill.
Yeah.
It's mostly the offense. You don't like to point fingers, but it's mostly the offense. The starting pitching has been pretty good. In fact, it's probably their strength right now. The bullpen has been up and down, hasn't been great, but the offense has just thoroughly underperformed based on the names that they put out there every day. You could go down the lineup and really the only guys who are living up to the back of their baseball card are Freddie Freeman, Will Smith, Shohei Ohtani, and even he is down from last year's ridiculous performance.
Does it change? Does it change without them getting Max Muncy back? Because I've always said Max Muncy's at-bats really change how this lineup is approached by other teams. The at-bats just are not the same. They don't put together a grinded at-bat.
Absolutely right. The effect that Max has on the lineup is outsized. You can't explain it that easily. I actually asked him last week. I told him I was going to start calling it the Max Muncy effect, and I wanted him to explain it. And he said just what you said. He has the kind of at-bats that wear out pitchers, that allow other guys in the lineup to be themselves. They don't have to try and be the guy who does that. Will Smith is the only other guy who sees a lot of pitches. So when you take Max out of there, we've seen a lot of 9-10 pitch 1, 2, 3 innings. It's no coincidence. Last year when he went out for 3 months with rib injury, they never really replaced him, and the offense dragged a little bit. This year he's been out for all but 8 games since that early July, and it's not a coincidence that the offense has suffered.
But he's going to come back, and so that'll help the offense. So my question might be lazy, but I'm going to ask it anyway. Isn't this what the Dodgers wanted? Get yourself off to a nice start. Cruise, prepare for October. Someone's out. Someone needs a little blow. IL, take extra time. Let's just make sure our October roster is stacked and try and solve the ultimate problem in Major League Baseball in the 2000s, winning back-to-back championships.
Yeah, you're right. You've defined the arrogance that is the Los Angeles Dodgers. That is exactly how they operate. The regular season is not do or die. Other teams, when they play the Dodgers, it's the most important games on their calendar. That is not the case for the Dodgers. They don't match that intensity or urgency. The problem is, and I've been saying this since the trade deadline, I don't think they're as good as they think they are. They didn't make any big moves at the deadline because of what you're saying. They thought, we'll be fine. We'll be stacked when everybody comes back healthy. Well, maybe these guys come back healthy. Maybe they don't come back to the same level. A good example, Tanner Scott and Kirby Yates both came back from a short stint on the IL and haven't looked good. They didn't look great when they went on the IL. They don't look great now. And there's just too many guys having down years. I mean, Teoscar Hernandez is not the same hitter he was last year. Mookie Betts is having the worst season offensively of his career. The bottom of the lineup is pretty thin right now with Max Muncy out of there. So, yeah, they're going to make it to October. They're going to have pretty good roster when they get into October, and like we've seen for 25 to 26 years. It's a crapshoot once you get there.
All right, I have two questions for you. One, Will Smith is doing this again where he has an unbelievable first half and then he kind of falls off. Is it wear and tear on him? Is it just overused? I know, and it happens to a lot of catchers. Cal Raleigh's having it happen to him. I had it happen to me a lot. You just kind of get worn down mentally. But what can they do? Because they brought up rushing. They've tried to use him more, but it hasn't seemed to help that much with Will.
The drop-off isn't as bad this year as it has been the last couple. There were physical issues that played into it the last couple years. He had a rib injury one year. I think it was a concussion another year that kind of lingered for a little while. And he hurt his ankle on a slide. Just little things that you look back and you can kind of point to them. But you're right. They've done everything they can to keep the workload down, and it's still happening. I asked Dave Roberts about that the other day, and he said, no, it's not the same thing. It's not the same thing. There's a little mechanical issue that he's working on. Well, then the next day he hit a pinch hit home run to win a game. He had a 3-hit game Tuesday here in Pittsburgh. And then last night, foul ball off his hand, won't be in the lineup for a couple days. So, you played the position. It's hard. There's a lot of banging and wear and tear. And that's the problem with counting on a catcher to be a key offensive piece in your lineup. It just demands so much.
All right, this is probably a story that's about a week and a half old, but is there a chance that we see Mookie going back to right field?
No.
Zero chance.
Let's just stop. Just
Won't
stop. No.
So then,
honestly,
is there a way? Is there a way
honestly,
that Teo can move to left and they upgrade somehow in right? Okay.
Yes, I can see that. Honestly, the best right fielder they have defensively right now is Andy Pages, and he's playing center field. So when Tommy Edman comes back from his injury, his ankle injury, and that'll probably be next week, they plan on playing Tommy in center field. Well, what does that mean for Andy Pages? Does he go to left field and bump Conforto out of the lineup? Or does he go to right field where he belongs, where his defensive skill set would be best? And Teo moves to left, where I think he does less damage defensively. He's not a good left fielder either, but he does less damage over there. Problem is, Teo isn't hitting very well, regardless of where you play him. But the outfield doesn't need Mookie Betts. They have other ways of doing this. Mookie is a good shortstop. I'm sorry, people don't seem to be getting this. You can look at the numbers and it reflects it. He's a good shortstop. Remarkable that he's made that adjustment, but he's not hitting. And, does going to right field.
What's up, Dodgers Nation? Victor here, and buckle up because today we're diving into one of the most uncomfortable stories surrounding our team right now. And honestly, this is the kind of drama none of us want to see inside the Dodgers clubhouse, especially with a veteran like Teoscar Hernandez. Remember last year, Teoscar literally cried during the parade after the World Series, saying all he wanted was to stay in LA, that the Dodgers were his top priority. He even turned down other offers, pushed money into deferred years, and locked into a $66 million contract just to wear Dodger blue. That's loyalty. That's commitment. But fast forward to today, and it feels like everything has flipped upside down. Dave Roberts' constant public criticism of Teoscar has created a huge mess. First, Roberts called him out for poor defense, then benched him, and now he's questioning his edge, saying Teoscar isn't bringing that fire anymore. And here's the thing, Teoscar is feeling exposed. He believes he's being singled out, almost persecuted, and that's led to a real disconnect not only with Roberts, but also with the rest of the locker room. Reports even surfaced that in November, he actually requested a trade because of all this tension. Imagine that, a guy who just cried about wanting to stay here now asking out because of the way things have gone. Statistically, yeah, it's been a rough season. He's hitting .246 with 21 homers, but his OPS is down, his WRC plus is barely above league average, and defensively, he's one of the worst rated outfielders in baseball. Baseball Savant has him in the 3rd percentile of fielding run value. That's brutal. His 8 outs above average makes him a liability, and we've all seen it. Misjudged fly balls, wild throws, and those painful moments that cost us games. At Coors Field, that ball that hit his glove and dropped. That was the turning point in a walk-off loss. Stuff like that can break a team's confidence. But here's where it gets tricky. We all know Teoscar's bat has carried this team in big moments. Last postseason, he was clutch, delivering when it mattered most. The problem is Roberts doesn't seem to be protecting his guy anymore, and in a clubhouse where players usually circle the wagons, Teoscar has felt isolated. No one stepping up to defend him, no buffer between him and the manager. That's a recipe for chemistry problems. From Roberts' perspective, I get it. Defense wins in October, and he wants accountability, but calling out a veteran like Teoscar so publicly, over and over again, that's dangerous leadership. It risks alienating a guy who was supposed to be a middle-of-the-order anchor for the next 3 years. So now we're stuck in this awkward situation. Do the Dodgers ride it out and hope Teoscar finds his spark again? Do they bench him when it matters most? Or, and I hate even saying this, do they explore a trade and move on before this tension blows up the clubhouse? Dodgers Nation, I've got to know what you think. Is Roberts being too harsh on Teoscar, or is this exactly the accountability we need if we're going to win another championship? Should the Dodgers keep rolling with him, or is it time to seriously think about a trade? Drop your thoughts in the comments, share this with another Dodgers fan, and don't forget to subscribe to the channel so you don't miss any updates. Because trust me, this story isn't going away anytime soon. What do you think? Want me to expand this into a full deep dive with trade scenarios where Teoscar could realistically land if things don't improve?